This is a fascinating piece in The Guardian. What if nature, like corporations, had the rights of a person? And without going through the whole argument, the Te Uruwera Act is a law that was passed in New Zealand back in 2014, 2 years ago, and it extended to a 821 square mile forest the legal rights of personhood. The forest is sacred to the Tuho people, an indigenous group of the Maori, and for them, Te Tura was an ancient and ancestral homeland that breathes life into their culture. The forest is also to them a living ancestor. And this act concludes that Te Uruwera has an identity in and of itself, and thus must be its own identity with all the rights, powers, duties, and liabilities of a legal person. Te Uruwera holds title to itself. Now, this is unique to New Zealand. This is brand new, but there are a number of places around the world where Native people, Aboriginal people, Indigenous people believe, and I would say that the Dakota Access Pipeline is an example of this, believe that the land is sacred and is their mother. We came out of the earth. Look at your body. Every single cell in your body is, made in part out of dirt. We are a product of the earth. What was it? Was it John Donne? Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream, and the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. Life is earnest, life is real, and the soul is not, and the grave is not its goal. Life, dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul, if I'm remembering my poetry right. And, dust thou art, to dust returnest. There you go, which I think is a paraphrasing something from Proverbs. But in any case, the idea that here in the United States, what we have done, and this is like the absolute pinnacle of Cartesian thinking, right? Of the world as a dead machine thinking that Rene Descartes brought us back in the 1700s, or the 17th century, excuse me. The pinnacle of that kind of thinking is that something that is not alive, that's a human-made abstraction, a corporation, has the rights of personhood. And they do. The Supreme Court has said this over and over and over again. Corporations are people. Mitt Romney, corporations are people, my friend. But nature is not. Nature, which is alive, does not have the right of personhood. Cannot sue or be sued. Doesn't have, any legal rights other than this one 800 square mile forest in New Zealand, which is, like I said, brand new and expect more to come. So how different would our world be? How different would our country be if before an oil company could go in and rip up the land and inject poisonous water underground to frack out things, if they had to recognize the personhood of that land, the sacredness of that land? How different would it be if the lumber companies, before they clear-cut a forest, had to consider all the living things in that forest? And the forest itself is a living organism. How different would it be if nature could have an attorney ad litem the same way that kids in foster care do, or for that matter, just an attorney the same way corporations who are people do, or who are persons, not people? I think this is a great and important idea, so I wanted to share it with you.